Time now for the front page. This is a news digest of news since yesterday's broadcast and while we were asleep. Hamas. Israel says the ceasefire terms have been violated by 3 detonations, gunfire, and yes, IDF soldiers have been injured. This being reported from Fox News. This is breaking information. Israeli Defense Forces have accused Hamas of violating the ceasefire agreement after a trio of explosions and an exchange of gunfire in northern Gaza yesterday. The IDF said 3 explosives were detonated in close proximity to Israeli troops, causing some light injuries. While Israel stated the explosives violated the ceasefire, it did not indicate plans to withdraw from the deal as of early this morning. Over the last hour, 3 explosive devices were detonated adjacent to IDF troops in 2 different locations in the northern Gaza Strip, violating the framework of the operational pause. In one of the locations, terrorists also opened fire at the troops who responded with fire, according to the IDF. A number of soldiers were lightly injured during the incidents, the statements continued. In both incidents, the troops were located in positions per the framework of the operational pause. Hamas has released a statement saying it remains committed to the terms of the ceasefire and, in turn, accused Israel of violations. Quote, as a clear result of violations by the enemy of the truce agreement in the northern Gaza Strip today, field friction occurred and our Mujahideen dealt with this violation. We are committed to the truce as long as the enemy has committed to it, and we call on the mediators to pressure the occupation to adhere to all the terms of the truce in the ground and in the air. This, according to Hamas Al-Qassam brigades, writing in a statement. Other live updates from the war zone today, from USA Today, 11 more hostages were released and reached Israel late yesterday. This, according to the Israeli military. The truce that gained freedom for them and dozens of other captives was extended by 2 days, bringing relative calm to the war-devastated Gaza Strip. After they undergo an initial medical assessment, our forces will accompany them until they are reunited with their families, according to the IDF, of the newly freed hostages. As part of the deal, Israel released 33 Palestinian prisoners who were driven early Tuesday, that's today, to the West Bank city of Ramallah, where they were greeted by cheering crowds. The truce had been scheduled to end yesterday, but Israel and Palestinian leaders expressed support for extending it and freeing more militant-held hostages and Israeli-held prisoners. Israel had previously offered to extend the ceasefire by 1 day for every 10 additional hostages released. The Israeli government has approved a potential release of 50 Palestinians, this from USA Today, following the extension of the temporary truce. The office of the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, said yesterday the Israeli government has approved the potential release of 50 additional Palestinians held in Israeli prisons. According to Netanyahu's office, the Palestinians in Israeli detention would be eligible for release in the event that a release of additional Israeli hostages would be carried out. Netanyahu's office described the 50 Palestinians as female prisoners. All Palestinians have been released from Israeli detention as part of the temporary truce have been women and children. In the United States, some connections to the hostages. This from USA Today. Among the 11 hostages released are Sharon Aloni Cuneo, 34 years of age, and her 3-year-old twin daughters, Emma and Yuli. The Cuneo family has relatives in New York who have worked desperately for their release. One of Sharon Cuneo's American cousins, Alana Zaitchik of Brooklyn, launched a campaign called Bring Our Family Home to tell the stories of several Israeli relatives held hostage since the October 7th attack, the Hamas rampage. Cuneo's sister, 44-year-old Danielle Aloni, and her 5-year-old daughter Amelia were among the first group of hostages freed last week. Sharon's husband, David Cuneo, remains in Hamas captivity in Gaza. All 6 family members were together in Kibbutz Nir Oz, near the Israel-Gaza border when Hamas militants attacked. Iran is in the news. They're flexing new military tech, and President Biden has been called on to do something about it. This from Fox News. The Iranian government is flexing its military power via a series of recent announcements as questions continue to grow as to whether the United States is doing enough to push back against the regime's increased attacks on American interests in the aftermath of the Hamas terror attack on Israel, October 7th. On Monday, Iran unveiled a new sophisticated warship for its Caspian Sea fleet that says it will be a sea of peace and friendship, and said Iran's naval power will serve peace and security of commercial fleets, confronting terrorists and probable incidents in the future. The announcement comes shortly after the country claimed to have developed a new hypersonic ballistic missile, allegedly expanding one of the most dangerous military capabilities at their disposal. As Iran announces military advancements, Iran backed proxies have carried out dozens of attacks on American bases and interests in the Middle East since the Iran backed Hamas terror organization attacked Israel, including in international waters where Yemen's Houthi rebels have fired upon and hijacked ships in the Red Sea in the Gulf of Aden. American schools in the news today. A teachers union has acknowledged harming Jews. This from Fox News. The Minneapolis Federation of Teachers Local 59, the MFT, has called for a members only meeting to push a resolution that acknowledges harm done to Jewish residents in the Minneapolis Public Schools district. The local teachers union passed a resolution last October to condemn the role our American government plays in supporting the system of Israeli occupation and apartheid, which the statement said lay at the root of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. In addition, the resolution called on Minnesota state lawmakers to repeal anti-BDS legislation. Jewish parents and other concerned citizens were outraged by the MFT statement on the Israeli-Hamas war, calling it anti-Semitic and hostile. MFT admitted there was unnecessary division caused in the community by the October 25th resolution. Quote, while it was not MFT member intent, the Israeli-Palestine resolution passed at our October 25th meeting harmed many Jewish members, students, and families, while causing unnecessary division within our union. We regret this, according to the statement. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee is working to broaden school choice in his state. This from Fox News. Republican Tennessee Governor Bill Lee is launching an ambitious effort to take school choice statewide today. He'll have some company for the announcement in Nashville. Lee is currently being accompanied by Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who has also done this for her state. Lee is going to announce the Education Freedom Scholarship Act, which his office says will extend school choice to every family across rural and urban Tennessee communities, putting parents at the forefront of their children's educations and giving all access to the best school for them. The current pilot program, called the Education Savings Account, ESA, has more than 3,400 families applying to join and more than 2,400 students enrolled in participating non-public schools. The participating students get about $9,000 a year to attend eligible private schools. Elsewhere in politics, there is censorship. It's a disparity between the Biden campaign and his opponents. This being reported by Fox News through the auspices of the Media Research Center. President Biden's political opponents have been censored by big tech 162 times combined. This according to the MRC. The Media Research Center, censortrack.org, researches all of these things. Heather Moon and Gabriela Pariseau conducted the study and found that 169 cases of censorship were levied against 2024 presidential hopefuls, with only 7 of those being against President Biden. This across Google, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. The year 2024 has not yet begun, but election interfering censorship is well underway as big tech companies have already censored every presidential candidate. This according to the researchers Moon and Pariseau. The study found the big tech platforms have, quote, manipulated the message of all 2024 candidates at least once. Vivek Ramaswamy has been censored 18 times to top the list. A Biden official has misquoted former President Ronald Reagan. This from Fox News happened yesterday. A senior Biden administration official was caught on camera butchering a popular phrase coined by the late former President Ronald Reagan about the federal government's role in the everyday lives of Americans. As I think it was President Reagan once said, quote, we're from the government, we're here to help. This was Education Secretary Miguel Cardona telling those gathered at the Western Governors Association winter meeting in Jackson Hole on Monday. The context of his comments centered on the federal government working with state governors on funding priorities related to education, but were drastically different than the message that Ronald Reagan was putting out when he first used the phrase during a news conference, August 12th, 1986. Quote, "The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, 'I'm from the government and I'm here to help,'" said Reagan. That was a gaffe. Hunter Biden, for his part, is currently working to appear before the House Oversight Committee. He made the agreement that he would indeed appear before the committee if only what was testified and his testimony be public. This from ABC News. Hunter Biden is willing to testify before the House Oversight Committee, but only in public. This according to a letter his attorney wrote to Republican lawmakers today. Chairman James Comer of the House Oversight Committee issued a subpoena earlier this month to depose Hunter Biden December 13th. In his letter, Abby Lowell, an attorney for Biden, accused Comer of selectively leaking information from closed-door depositions with other witnesses in his ongoing impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. Quote, "We have seen you use closed-door sessions to manipulate, even distort the facts, and misinform the public," Lowell wrote to Comer. "We therefore propose opening the door to the public for this testimony." And that is today's front page.